Thaddeus Breaux and his son T. Breaux Jr., Thaddeus Breaux Jr., he is a junior or the second, is joining us, 8th grade quarterback phenom and his father. What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Appreciate you guys hopping in, man. Let me start right out the gate. Are you guys in school? Are you in school now, or is it done? Is the semester over or school over?
I'm done with school right now.
Got you. Okay. I was about to say, I was like, damn, everybody now seems like nobody go to school no more. I was like, shit, nobody ever in class no more. Shout out, man. We thank you for coming on, man. Coach Eli gave me a little rundown, and we won't dive into too much personal stuff. I just want to make sure. I just want to dive into like your take. We talked on the phone. I'm interested to hear your take, man. The whole overall ball of wax here is your son has options. He's already got a Division I scholarship offer. He wants to basically say, you know what? I'm not going to go chase this bag. I want to play for somebody that I trust. I want to get developed by, and I want to play the game actually and not worry about this right now at this age. It's not about monetization right now. It's about development and growth. So, Pops, I just want to ask you, what was the mindset on him saying, you know what? We could have took a X amount of dollars to go to school A, B, or C, but we chose to go here, and we don't really care about the money at this age as an 8th grader.
Well, you know, in this age, you have options, as you already said. And let me start off with saying it didn't help. This is my first podcast, JB, so it didn't help by you saying it was 3,000 people watching.
Oh, you good? it'll be more in about 5 minutes, but you're good.
Well,
you're good.
So just to kind of go over it, you know, we have options. So it's a multitude of schools that's interested in him. We worked out with a lot of the schools, but our decision is based on, you know, what school is going to benefit him in the long run. You know, we're emphasizing education. We're emphasizing moral character, integrity, hard work, accountability, all of that. You know, it pretty much plays into the decision, right? So when I'm looking at schools, I'm not only just looking at the football coach. I'm looking at the football coach, and I'm looking at the institution, which is Hamilton at this particular point. We had an affinity for Elijah Asante because you know, if I go all the way back and stop me if you want to, because I'm long-winded.
No, do your thing. You're good.
Right? You're good. No, we want to.
Back in 2000, I want to say 2020. By 2020, we started working out with this quarterback coach, James Boyd, right? And he would always talk about his achievements. He came out of high school with 92 offers. I might be missing one or two. And he would always talk about his coach and the values that his coach instilled in him. You know, I did a little bit of research, and his coach was Elijah Asante. Well, that's back in 2020. Elijah Asante is not coaching at that point. But, you know, the name kind of stuck with me because of James Boyd. You know, he came out of L.A. Jordan, inner city school, went to USC. I mean, he was the biggest thing going. Fast forward to 2025, we're here trying to navigate this, and, you know, everything's getting thrown at us. You know, different schools are coming. Speaking to different peoples. Of course, we're not talking to any coaches, you know, that we kind of keep that on a straight and narrow. But, you know, I ran across an article by Eric Seiheimer saying that Elijah Asante was coaching at Hamilton. And Hamilton immediately became a possible destination. When we looked at the record of Hamilton, it wasn't appealing. But you know, I'm a big guy for, you know, get it out the mud. You know, you don't have to go to the best program with the best athletes. You know, you can go to a program that's close to home, that's going to get you where you need to be academically and still be seen. You don't have to be, you know, at these programs that's highly touted and all that good stuff. So when we looked at Hamilton, so Elijah Asante was part of the puzzle, right? Because he had already came highly recommended by James Boyd years prior. But then when we went to Hamilton, I think we went for an orientation back on May 3rd. May 3rd, we went to orientation over at Hamilton. And when I say I was blown away, absolutely blown away. The academic rigor was ridiculous. They have a program called BITA, Business and Interactive Technology Academy, that's kind of built into the school itself. It has an emphasis on career development. It teaches hands-on. When you walk out of that school, at least that's the impression that I got. When you walk out of that school, you are ready to immediately jump into the business world. And he's expressed interest in business as well. So that was kind of like a perfect marriage. Not only did I have a coach that, came highly recommended, I have an academic program that really sparks my interest, sparks his interest. The football program is not the best. However, we're hoping, I'm put it like this. When you're a number one draft pick, in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
you don't ever go to the best program. The team that you're getting is bottom of the barrel, probably the worst team in the league. You have to be able to take that worst team and transform that worst team in the league into one of the best teams in the league. So, I'm big on adversity. I believe adversity creates a man.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to raise a young man, and I want him to go through that adversity. I don't want him to be in an ideal situation to where he has the best receivers, the best line, and he never has to up his game. I need him to be to a point to where he has to constantly grow and develop in the game of football. And also after football, he's going to have a sound foundation to grow on. So that's kind of like my thought process. I know it's long-winded, but
no doubt. No, I love it. Here's the thing. So I know the boys real well. I've been around them since they were little kids. And I know all of them. I had taken a lot of players from Eli when he was coaching high school, and I was in college coaching. So I've had a lot of Eli's players right out of Jordan. And I took 4 receivers in 1 year. All 4 were D1 Power 5 guys that didn't make it qualify-wise, and I took them all to play for me at Chaffey College, and all did great. One of them ended up in jail for a long, long time, unfortunately, and that's what happens, right? That's what we grow up with. That's what we try to coach out of these cats. Sometimes you can't get it. You can't get through to all of them. I tell my coaches all the time, you can't save them all. So hopefully, this is a lesson to be learned here. But I got to ask you, is he a holdback or no?
He is a holdback, yes.
Got you. Now, let me dive into that. The reason I ask is that a lot of people may not know. So you held him back to get him a little bit. What is as a father, before we talk to the youngster, what is your take on doing that?
Okay, so, I'm a little different when it comes down to the holdback. I tell anybody that I held him back specifically for football. And I get a lot of hate because of that. But I don't ever make decisions without having a way in which to correct it at a later date. So my plan, and actually I missed this part because Hamilton plays into this decision as well. We held him back a year to put him ahead of his class by a year and a half. And let me explain that, right? The only way I could justify holding him back for football is by making sure that he was well taken care of academically. So, he's already taken college courses. He's completed. He just recently finished his first college course. When he goes into Hamilton has a program to where they actually assist you with getting your associate's degree. So since he is more mature, he's currently 15 years old, he can then jump directly into that program without any issues, concerns, or anything of that nature. And when he graduates from Hamilton, he will graduate. The goal is to have him graduate with an associate's degree. So we held him back a year, and when he graduates, he'll be up 2 years, because his first day on a college campus, he will be classified as a junior if we stay on this path that we're currently on, right? So we have a plan, and Hamilton is instrumental in us actually executing that plan.
Got you. That's news to me. I've been doing this a long time. I never heard of getting the AA in high school. I've done a lot of things. There's programs that you can do. I used to get my my high school seniors about 8 credits towards college so I could graduate them earlier out of JUCO with their AA, because there's certain college classes that they just can't manage, in my opinion, in high school. So like it was there's some dual enrollment options I know that you can do that's going to help the kids. And so I'm glad that Hamilton has that. Eli knows what I used to do as well with the kids in high school towards their AA degree. Now, if this JUCO rule passes, it makes perfect sense that the JUCOs don't basically go against your clock. So all this stuff is going to be very interesting. It's called concurrent enrollment, by the way, is what you'll be doing as a high school player or student in college courses. So T-Bro, what's up, man? What you got going on, man? Why did you say, you know what, I'm going to turn down school A, B, and C just to stay loyal to the T? Like, you learn from your father, you learn from all that, and then you're saying, you know what, I believe in this particular coach about this particular program. Why are you different than all the other 8th graders out here who see the glass, the glimmer, the gold, and they see, you know, Shedeur Sanders and buying Bentleys? And why are you so different?
Because I feel like at this point, the money doesn't really, it's not a life-changing amount of money. So the money doesn't really change me in any way. It's really about who gets me out there the most. And, you know, I went to all these other high schools, and whether they was offering money or not, it wasn't, they were offering, like, I could be seen. But when I went to Coach Elijah, you know, he was going around, he was introducing me to coaches and stuff. And, you know, with the school-wise education over there at Hamilton's the best. You know, you got people with 5.0 GPAs, 4.8. The programs that they offer is top tier, and they give me a chance to learn early on what it's like to be an adult. You know, courses that I want to take in college, you know, they have courses in that school that will prepare me for that. So,
no doubt. Love it.
I love it too. And to jump in here, man, I think it's great because, like you said, like JB alluded to, like so many people your age right now is, and a lot of it, I put it on the parents more than them, where they're just focused on the money. And you are, I can just hear you talking. You're a mature young man, and obviously you have a great father next to you as well, who's helping kind of guide you. And the money's gonna come. At the end of the day, you have the talent. You're ranked where you're ranked. As long as you take care of your business in the classroom, on the field, stay healthy and everything, that money's gonna come at college and then obviously beyond college as well, right? So like the fact that you even have the mindset right now where you're thinking about the bigger picture and thinking about life after football, thinking about just becoming a man and just the two, I think it's just dope to hear it. It's refreshing. So oftentimes on this show, JB, we always talk about just how this generation, it feels like, man, like everybody wants the handout. Everybody is the second someone says you're not starting, they're transferring to another school. And I know JB joked before you guys jumped on. You guys know there's kids going from like 5-6 high schools just within their 4 years, right? And I think the fact that you're like, nah, like you took the time to like really decide the school for all the right reasons. I'm just giving you your flowers as, you know, as somebody who played ball myself and just looking at how you're moving. Both of you guys, father and son. That's dope.
No doubt. That's the thing. I don't think Pops, you get enough credit. Like regardless of what anyone thinks, like you need to go on a tour yourself and hopefully save some of these youngsters, man. Let me ask you this. The fathers, you know, especially 7-on-7, the street agents that are out here in America that we know we all come across that all want you to go to their school or their homie school or what have you. Then you get this whole, it's basically AAU of football now with this, you know, travel 7-on-7 and all these different things. And then we have what we call cross coaching, meaning these 7-on-7 coaches want to tell you to do this versus what your head coach in the high school is doing. I used to hate all that stuff. All the dads you come across, Pops, let me ask you, the common denominator is what? The bag, right?
You know what? I want to say you have about, I say it's about 80-20. 80% is about the bag. 20% is about the clout. So a lot of parents want the clout. A lot of parents want to go to these top schools, and not saying it's wrong. Not saying it's wrong, because that's the lane for many people. You know, want to go to these top schools and possibly not play. You know, be on the JV squad and be on the freshman squad. And not saying that's a bad lane, but they choose that lane. And you know, I'm in the stands. I'm in the stands watching these games, and I go to these games and I'm talking to these parents. And the worst thing to hear is a parent saying, "Hey, look, you know what? We believed in the process. That's my boy on the field right there. He's currently a senior. He finally made it on the field, and he's running a special teams play." You know, that's the stories you kind of hear. But just to kind of go back to the original question, you know, when I'm talking to these parents, most of it is about the clout, man. They want to go to the school that's going to give them the most notoriety. Oh, you know what? This school was 10-1. They just barely missed the divisional playoffs or whatever. You know, and that's not my goal. That's not the way we move. We move based off of integrity.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me ask you this real quick. I know you see all this because they're there, so you get to see all this stuff firsthand. And I got to ask you, like, how important is it to come in as a starter, as a ninth grader, and get the film? The eye in the sky don't lie, as I always say. How important was that in the decision-making process? Or because a lot of people are going to start as a freshman to a lot of these big-time schools, they find out that they got two, 3 transfers also, and then they end up transferring before they even play it down. So they already went there, and now they're already transferring before they ever play. So that's one issue we see right now. That's why these guys are going to 4 high schools in 4 years. How important is that process right now in making the decision on where to go right out of 8th grade?
In my opinion, it's extremely important. If I'm not going to downplay it, extremely important, because how can I say this? As a freshman, you want to put yourself in a position to either one be a varsity player, or 2 be on JV with the expectation of being on varsity the very next year. You know, if that road isn't straightforward in regards to being on varsity by your sophomore year is critical, in my opinion. If you're not a varsity player by your sophomore year, given the fact that you have this transfer portal, you have the JUCO ruling. I believe that's still pending. That hasn't passed yet, correct? The JUCO ruling?
Not yet, but yesterday they kind of threw a monkey wrench in this whole extended year deal, though. The Pavia kid that went to Vanderbilt, as you know, that was a former JUCO player, got that extra year, sued the NCAA, sued everybody. But the NCAA ruled yesterday, or 2 days ago, they ruled that not everybody's going to be able to get the extended year, which I'm not mad at. Well, I'm not mad at it, by the way, because I played JUCO and went through the process. Like, so did you. You played. You understand. We played our years, dog. I'm not for extra years. I don't want T-Bro to be 30 years old leaving Miami. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. That's why I think football is being watered down, too. And let me ask you this real quick. Like, how important is it to get, I guess, solidified by one philosophy? And what I mean is, I see a lot of these cats, these youngsters who have no guidance either at the household or by a coach or a mentor. And they go and they listen to these street agents. They listen to these 7-on-7 dudes who absolutely know nothing. And then they go and they transfer 4 times. I don't believe people realize that they're getting 4 different philosophies in a matter of 3 years and 4 ideologies, 4 different ways how to lift weights. Because quarterback's supposed to lift a little different, just FYI. I know you know that, but a lot of cats don't understand it. The weight program for other players, how to tackle, 4 different ways how to tackle. You wonder why we got so many injuries? So, like, there's so much to it. Like, how important is that? Or have you thought about that process as far as I'm going to stick true to this? I'm going to stay right here. We're going to get one philosophy. And then when I go to college, I'm going to try to do the same thing. Is that something that sticks on your guys' mind?
You know what? Haven't really thought about that. But given the fact that you brought it up, I think it's very important. You know, at this age, because, you know, he's 15, he's learning how to become a young man. So we want to try to instill values in him that are going to stick with him for years to come when he goes into college and beyond. So to have him around the right people that's teaching the right values is paramount. I think we're on a road to whereas we are achieving that at this point. But if we take it in regards to football, I want to have him around as many different people to teach different concepts for football. So, you know, we're gonna make sure that we stick with, you know, my goal is to go to Hamilton all 4 years, right? So once we're in, we're not moving around. But in the off season, I think it's important that he actually gets to sample other coaching styles, because I don't want him to become what's called a system quarterback, to where you can't maneuver, you can't adjust, because you were only taught to do things this way, and this other coach wants you to do it this way using different terminology. So I want him to be well-rounded in the football world, but as far as, you know, developmentally, intellectually, I want him to stick with one program and move forward and matriculate the system with that one program academically.
Nah, no doubt. Just make sure they're not the slap dicks teaching you the wrong shit. I'm telling you, don't practice bad habits. You can learn bad habits too, real easy. Let me tell you. Let me ask you something, T-Bro. How important is making a layup for you? And let me explain what that means. 6-yard hits on time, throwing the ball on time, pre-snap, post-snap, you know what's going on. The ball is out 3 steps, and that's a layup for us in the quarterback world. That's a layup. How important is making layups to you before you start throwing 9 balls and what we call scoreboard throws? Everybody wants to light the scoreboard up, but just know that's the most it's the most incompleted pass in football. So I just want to make sure, how important is the little things to you as you go through this process and matriculate and mature?
They're really important, like you said, like the little layups. The layups is the throws that set up the 9 balls, you know, because you keep on hitting the hit, you keep on hitting the slants. You know, they're gonna bite up at some point. That's when you hit the 9 ball, because, you know, the 9 ball isn't really completed as much. So you put yourself in a position to where if it's not completed, now you're in a 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10. It makes it so much harder. And now you have to go a little longer. But you keep slants, you know, the hitches, you know, you work your way down the field. And once they bite on it, then you try and hit them over the top. It makes it much easier. So,
no doubt. No doubt. How are you starting to get in tune with protections and all that stuff already? Understanding like the defense's fronts and understanding like who's who, like who's the anchor, who's the edge, who's the BCCR, who got the flat. All that stuff, you know all that shit yet?
I know. I feel like I know a lot for my age. Not everything yet. I still got a lot of stuff to learn. But
I'm texting Eli right now. Eli, what the hell you doing with this cat, man?
You know what? We haven't had a chance to really sit down with Eli as of yet.
Yeah.
Once we have a chance, I think we're probably gonna try to get to the school maybe about next week, beginning of next week. Hopefully we have a chance to sit down with him, talk to him, kind of go through his coaching philosophy. At this point, you know, most of our statements are just, you know, based off of his reputation. You know, we've seen him in passing, but no serious dialogue.
Sure.
Gotcha.
People in the chat are like, come on, JB, he's 15. Motherfucker, Arch Manning, you know what he was doing at 14? Like, if you want to be the best, you better go figure this shit out. Like, these cats don't want to realize that this is not no game no more. There's millions of dollars to be made in college. You want me to sit around? And there's a reason you held them back. And I'm not talking to you, Pops. I'm talking to everybody in the chat. Like, there's a reason. We held him back for football. So guess what? He's got to be advanced or we're doing it for no reason. So, like, if we want to keep up with the Joneses and Arch Manning and all these other dudes who's making $4 million in college, by the way, I think it's pretty damn life generational changing wealth. Yeah. Guess what? I better know the damn front. I better know who the hell the disco and the dice are, Cloud Sky. I need to know who the quarter match player is. All that shit needs to happen already. So when you get to high school, guess what? When Sark walks in from Texas to offer you a scholarship and put you on the board, you know how the hell to write up the front. And guess what? Every day is an interview, son. Every day is an interview. Remember that shit. I'm just telling you. So, man, I can't wait. Listen, we got a Miami Hurricane basically connoisseur in here who goes to all the games, covers it. He's a boxing analyst and covers a lot of boxing. But he talks about this quite often in the 4-year level with Miami players and college players transferring 4 times in 4 years. And he wanted to ask you a couple questions. But I want to ask you one thing before he comes on and ask you before we get you out of here. I can't thank you guys enough. How important is it to go to college and earn a diploma or a degree from that particular institution that says, let's say, Miami or LSU? I know you guys are Louisiana products. Is it like, or do you say, I'm going to go to LSU and then I got to transfer because I didn't like it and I'm going to go to Miami and then I'm going to go to Florida State? Pops, I'm asking you, like, how important is that degree having one name on it versus having 4 names on it, I guess? Well,
your degree, whatever school you graduate from, that's the only name that's on your degree. But it's very important to go in, get that degree, and move on, get your master's, because the path that we're on, we're going to have our associates when we get in. So we have a roadmap. I have a roadmap that I'm following. He's going to have his associate's degree when he goes into college. We're going to go to one college. That's the ideal situation. We'll go to one college, and he'll get his bachelor's after 2 years. And then the next 2 years, he's going to be working on his master's. So the expectation is that we get a 4-year scholarship, of course, and he's able to matriculate the system as such and get a free 4-year a bachelor's and master's when he comes out.
No doubt. Steve Kim right here, Mr. Breaux, T-Bro. Listen, I don't know if you guys can announce it or not, but the rumors are you have a scholarship offer already, correct? From a 4-year institution.
Yes, sir.
All right. You don't have to say who or if you want to or not, but how important is that as an 8th grader to already have a Division I school offer you, which we've seen the Lane Kiffins offer 7th graders back in the day and all these other things when he was at USC. How important is it already to know I got one school? Now, what is your goal? Like, is that now a relationship building process, or are you worried about stacking offers as we see nowadays? Because now when you walk in that house and sit down and eat some gumbo, how much money you got? You know what I mean? That's what's happening now. So how important is that, real quick, before Steve asks you a couple questions before we get out of here?
Let me take it. That's a loaded question, right? So it's extremely important on certain aspects, and it's not as important on other aspects. In regards to his mental, I think it really helps his mental to know that somebody's out there watching him, saying that he's, he looks like he may be a Division I athlete. Saying that, hey, look, I see what you're doing on the field, keep it going. That kind of stuff, that reinforcement, I think is very important. So we 100%. And by the way, it's Sacramento State that offered him the scholarship. Yeah. But that's important. And I think
my boy get up there doing some things. He's getting some things going.
But if we're looking at it in regards to, it could be detrimental, because some kids will look at it and say, you know what, I've made it. I no longer have to get any better. I've hit the pinnacle of success. I have offers. So now I'm just trying to stack offers, and you're not getting better. So I try to keep him grounded, that, hey, look, this is a verbal offer. You know, it's not committable. You know, you can't sign on the dotted line for this offer. If you don't perform, they can easily take that offer back. You know,
No doubt.
This is just the college saying, hey, look, I like you. I like what you're doing. You're on the right path you're great for an 8th grader.
Right.
You know, that doesn't mean you're the best.
And it's verbal at this point anyway, obviously, since he's not in high school. Steve Kim joins us. Steve, appreciate you. He's probably going to try to lure him to Miami, but just take it for granted.
I'm just a fan. I just have a question, sir. Just one question. Have you examined what has happened to Jaden Rashada, in large part because of his father, the situation at Tennessee with Nico Iamaleava, and have you taken mental notes on what not to do and how not to handle a recruitment?
I have, as the father. My goal is, and everybody has a plan, you know, going in, and then you know, you adjust as life hits you, right? My goal would not be to move around like that. Not saying that those guys made a bad decision, because we don't know exactly what went into that decision for, you know, the Nikos and the Rashads, you know, but our goal is to make, you know, going in, we always want to make our first choice our best choice, you know. So we put a lot of emphasis on research. I'm going to research the coach. I'm going to research the program. I'm going to research the depth chart, you know, make sure that we're in the proper lane. You know, and I tell my friends all the time, it makes no sense for Patrick Mahomes, you know, to be on the same team as Tom Brady. Those are 2 great quarterbacks. You know, so if you make that decision, somebody's going to sit the bench. And it's not because they're not great. It's just because you went with another great quarterback. So the decision that we make, we're going to have to really, you know, jump deep into that decision, and we're going to stick with it.
Hey, let me ask you something real quick for you guys. As you guys leave, I appreciate you popping on here, man. I'm going to get Eli on separately because of the rules and stuff. I'll get him on separately down the road. But let me ask you, I'm the best recruiter in college football history. Fact. But anyway.
It's debatable, but I'll let him carry on.
So I recruited Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, Matt Castle, and T-Bro. And you all signed. And T-Bro gets there and he sees the QB room. That's what it used to be. Just to your Mahomes and Brady comparison. That's what it used to be. None of those guys left. What are you going to do when that happens? Because the reason I'm going to give it to you and I'm going to flip it, I'm promising T-Bro, you're coming here to be the guy, blah, 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 which I hope coaches aren't doing. I would never lie to a kid. And then you get there and you see that I also signed these other 3 guys I did not tell T-Bro about, because I'm always looking to out-recruit the room, always. And if you're not, you're a fool as a professional, and that's meaning the coach. So T-Bro gets there and bam, I got these other dudes in the room. Where's the mindset, T-Bro? Where's the mindset? Are you ready to take a cat shit, or are you saying, all right, I'm going to do this, X, Y, Z. I got a plan like your pop said.
I mean, if I get in there and he's 3 other quarterbacks, and I'm not going to be happy, of course. But at the end of the day, you know, all you can do is compete, try and beat out the next man. So, you know, I'm gonna work hard. You know, study the playbooks, get to know the team, build chemistry, and hopefully I can earn the starting spot over those 3 other guys that he recruited. So.
Hey, listen, man, you're a well-spoken young man, dude, and your pops, you got to thank your pops every day. I'm just going to keep it real with you. I don't have my pops here no more, but thank him, man. He's doing a hell of a job with you. And I got to be honest, don't put your future in another man's hands. Don't do it. If you do, you're going to fail. And the first problem is, to that first question I have for you, who's the greatest quarterback ever to play at Hamilton High School?
Warren Moon.
No, it should be T-Bro.
Oh, well, I haven't played.
Not yet, though. He hasn't played there yet.
You answered it right. He answered it right. Like that.
I'm just trying to get his mind already. Hey, man, we can't thank you guys enough for joining. Good luck, man. And like I said, hopefully we'll have you on again, man, and track your guys' career. in future. And I can't wait to see you, man. How tall? Give me your measurables. How tall are you?
6'4".
6'4". How big?
25 pounds.
205, 8th grader, 15 years old.
Ooh, he's still growing.
No doubt. Hey, man, Cam Newton-esque. Appreciate you, brother. I'll see you guys soon. Be safe out here.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Have a
All
good
right,
day.
Be good.